Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is BSL Hasuleague, BSL 18 Hasuleague. Round of 8. We got Kiko starting in the bottom left-hand corner as the red Terran. Bottom right-hand corner, we got Bugg starting as the midnight blue Protoss. This is going to be on retro. And I am particularly excited to see this matchup with Kiko in it. I've been wanting to do commentaries of Kiko for quite some time now. If you guys keep an eye on the Brood War Clan League that is run pretty often, I haven't seen it cast in a bit. Veer was doing it for a while, but Kiko is a pretty fierce competitor in that space and does a really good job for his respective team. Bugg we saw doing a lot of fun and interesting stuff in the round of 32 and the round of 16. I'm not shocked that he's here, but I have a feeling against Kiko, well, actually it'll be interesting to see, because one of Kiko's problems I've seen, it's been a while since I've seen a Kiko match, but the Kiko matches I enjoyed quite a bit. And Kiko can vary between, he was definitely going for that +1 weapons attack back when that was the rage and executed it really well. But one of his secondary problems sometimes is playing, doing kind of the, what people oftentimes criticize Artosis for doing, which is playing a little bit too passively and allowing his opponents to expand unmitigated. And if he opts to go for the unmitigated, not checking around the map sort of style, versus Bugg could potentially run away from this, because we've seen Bugg hide expansions absolutely everywhere on the map and play very aggressively in the start. And it looks like we might be setting up, speaking of aggressive economic play, well, yeah, this is, I think, going to be on a 4-player map, probably a 12 Nexus here to open things up. So yeah, there is the 400 resources stacking in. So one, we'll have to check the scouting pattern from Kiko. This is a pretty standard thing for Protoss to do these days on 4-player maps. You get that big economic edge to start. But we have a refinery down, and now the question is Kiko just going to go for one SCV, or a couple SCV in, get that first factory, go one Vulture into expansion? Looks like he's unfortunately scouting top left first. Or is he going to keep the SCV in and give himself enough gas to potentially transition to double factory as far as a follow-up? Double factory into this tends to be very successful. Probe is going to get first scout. Nothing going right for Kiko here at the start. We got the first Marine being constructed, and it looks like we do have the first factory down. So now are the SCV pulling off? So we do see SCV pulling off initially here. Only one remaining. Fortunately for Kiko, that Marine, with the timing of everything, going to get in position to go ahead and blockade that probe out. Not that it makes a lot of difference from Bugg, because Bugg still... oh, going to lose that probe. Still is going to have to do this double gateway follow-up and get a stream of units out in response. Kiko, let's see if he skips scouting the upper right. Looks like not. Might have... here's the thing, it could have been a cross-map scout with all the timing of that. So gonna check top right, find absolutely nothing, now making the way bottom right, and it's gonna be, this is kind of that moment that no Terran wants to see. Bugg being very greedy, not even producing initial zealots, is going straight to cybernetic score as far as the response. So factory done. Usually the meta this day for Terran, just get that single Vulture, get the 3 Marines, and play for an expansion. It looks like Kiko is moving down to in fact do that. But from this play, there will be an economic disadvantage. There's the 2 zealots after the cybernetic scores. So Bugg going to lose, their scouting information is going to be there, where Kiko's going to be able to wander in and see, okay, yeah, it was the 12 Nexus, we got the 2 gateways, we got the zealots, and that is provoking a move out of those 3 Marines and that single Vulture. Microable, it's possible. The Vulture does very well against zealots on the low ground, but a bit of supply, well, I'm interested to see how this plays out, because the Dragoons could be on the way. So the Zealots moving out to meet. Nice play from Bugg, getting some free damage on the Vulture, and Kiko now scrambling back here to the 6 o'clock. I like that play from Bugg. Buy some time to get those Dragoons out in the field, and also abusing this ramp edge in the vision back and forth. Yeah, Kiko can micro against your Zealots a little bit, but there's less confidence just barreling down into this. And that SCV in the meantime holding the ramp to go ahead and blockade the Dragoons out to provide some support. An additional pylon down. That Vulture... yeah, that nice blockade. Like that play. So the Vulture going to be able to get a few probe kills. Probe's pulling off to defend. Bugg playing really nice thus far. The Marine's going to hold the 6 o'clock location, but now there's kind of the inverted concern for Kiko. The Vulture moving to the north is going to provide a threat. It looks like those Marines are going to be able to escape. And a single Dragoon moving to the north rather than an over-dedication of 2 Dragoons, and that Vulture just going to skirt out. Nice move by Kiko last second to save that Vulture. Maybe get the Mine complement down. Mine's just going to finish researching the Dragoon in hot pursuit. But this is 3 mines, and 3 mines is pretty significant in the early stages of the game. Can really depict whether the movement moves back towards the Protoss or remain. Okay, we are seeing some mines planted. This guy escapes. Looks like he's probably going to be able to mine up the 12 o'clock location. So that's 3 health, 3 mines, basically. And it looks like, wow, Bugg playing again, playing that economic aggression. Robotics facility on the front. Kiko spots it. But he's already got a probe hanging out at the 3 o'clock location to grab that 3rd base very, very rapidly. Kiko not missing a beat, though, and playing very aggressively into this. Loses the Vulture, takes out the Zealot on the front, and is still testing that front door. And let's see if he's going to be able to pop through with a little bit of mine blockading. So, is able to sneak through, able to take out a Vulture, a Dragoon right there through a nice little micro trick. I've never seen a Terran attempt that before and succeed. That great play from Kiko, and is going to be able to get a little bit of damage, but also critically going to be able to scout in and see the lack of additional gateways. So he knows that it's going to be movement towards a 3rd base. So nice mines blockaded in. And it looks like Kiko, recognizing that it was going to be a quick 3rd, is going to respond very, very rapidly and is moving an SCV up to his respective 9 o'clock location to get his 3rd up in turn and maintain an overall economic advantage. Right now he's down 6 workers, supplies even. Usually in these sort of situations, second gas going up. Usually in these situations, though, it is advantageous, and Kiko's got some fantastic map position right here. These mines in the front before the observer. Where is the observer actually at this stage? The observatory's out. It looks like it's going to be Reaver first. So Bugg trying to cut corners here. And we'll see if he ends up paying for it. We do have a single Dragoon and a pylon wall there at the 3 o'clock. Not sure if Kiko recognized that sneak out. Seeing that Dragoon here at the 3 o'clock location, he's got to have thoughts about that. And I take it back. Where I thought Kiko was going to go ahead and grab an additional base, it looks like instead he's opted to drop a 3rd and I presume 4th factory in response to this. Man, I would have loved to see that quick 3rd base take. Getting the armory down as well and some turrets on top of it. 2nd machine shop in between all of this. Maybe feeling like he just didn't have... That would have been pretty greedy, to be honest. Especially with the potential shuttle and Reaver out there. Vulture now going to wander up here to the 3 o'clock location. I think it would have been feasible, but it would have been really, really greedy on both ends. I like seeing those greedy plays, though. So Vulture finds the 3 o'clock base up and operational, even sees the probe migration towards that direction. Looks like Vulture's not in position to really assassinate it, but at least they see it making their way. So that's going to be 3 saturated, pretty well saturated bases for Bugg. I think 55 is like off the top of my head, the solid count right there for 3 base saturation, something around there. Observer move out, going ahead and clearing the mine features right now. And with the 6 gateways down, that's plenty of room, honestly, to even grab a 4th. Kiko is grabbing that 3rd now. But having a few additional factories behind this, so 3 factories behind this. As things stand, depending on whether we see... So we're seeing Siege Tank and Goliath in hand, maybe to deal with potential Reaver drops. The turret's out to the corner to absorb potential... Kiko doesn't have much of an attack force out here. He's got a pretty solid supply count. But both players have gone very, very economically aggressive. And I'm wondering if this is going to turn into an attempt at Gateway Man or a quick, this is what I was looking for, that quick Stargate. So I presume this is going to turn into 3 base Arbiter as far as a turnaround. And I think that will, given the timing and the low factory count at this moment, I think here's some attack happening someplace. Looks like an SCV died. Maybe there was an SCV trap behind something. I think there was an SCV trap behind these supply depots. And that side note, I've seen Koreans do a clever thing where they actually build the supply depots. So they still build them like this, but they'll build this one, then that one, and then like this one, so that the SCVs don't get trapped, which I think is clever. We got a Dragoon and a Reaver in the meantime out on the front. A probe checking out the 6 o'clock base, just seeing one maybe spotting out for dropships. That would be a crazy base grab. If that was a base grab, usually you don't expand into your Terran opponent. The observer sneaking forward to see if there is any movement, because usually around you'll see some units staging up. Oh, is this going to be Bugg doing the sneaky thing? So Bugg going for... Okay, no. For a second there, I'm like, okay, this would be... No, maybe he's going to go for it. Might seal and try to take the 6 o'clock while moving in this Reaver. So just presuming, we do have a single vulture making the way, which Kiko kind of revealing his hand that he knew that base was an attempted grab. He's going to be able to kill that probe. Mine actually hits that Dragoon behind it. That also delays a potential Reaver harassment. So Bugg, if he's going to grab a quick fourth, needs to grab it someplace else. But he's got a lot. Yeah, it looks like he wants to go Gateway Arbiter behind this. Got the Templar Archives moving in. A few idle probes, but nothing unexpected at this level of play. Not much of a defense here. We got a bunker with 2 Marines. Did he split up the 2 Marines he already had? Yeah, so split up the 2 Marines to get a little bit of a padding defense. Now we're seeing that surge on that gateway count right around the +1 weapons mark. Bugg again testing that front door just to see what the siege tank count was at, and sees that it's about 6 siege tanks. So not going to try to bust it, but wanted to make sure that if there was a +1 weapons attack incoming, that he'd be able to have a little bit of forewarning. And seeing that it's not there, he might now, now he's going to actually, again, try to grab this 6 o'clock base, which I think is very, very risky. He is playing Gateway Man, keep in mind. But this is still a base that's towards your opponent, and therefore towards their reinforcement point, potentially. And you can see where, like a... Oop, Mayan lands right there, where you could see... Like a... I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Bugg knows something I don't. We do have a lot of troops moving in here. Double Forge to blockade it. Interesting play. I think the engineering bay might be able to even spot a lot of that. Kiko's starting to move a little bit forward. +1 weapons is there. He's way behind on supply, though. There's done some nice macro from Bugg. In the midst of all this, has managed to surge up to 60 supply, although 20 of that supply is in bases, and that was presuming a 4th base take. So 77 workers, usually what you're spreading across 4 bases, I believe. And right now he's still sitting at 3. So deduct about 20 there, but that's still a massive supply lead. But this is still a lot of siege tanks behind this, and there's no arbiter support. And a lot of Dragoons still can very quickly get splatted against an army like this, depending on the engagement point. And Kiko's set up in a pretty nice gap for an engagement point. And I'm wondering if he's just going to stage some siege tanks towards the front and then just walk his way into the 6 o'clock and take a free base from Bugg. Because I think that is a very likely scenario here. Let's see if Bugg has enough in pure mass to break through this. That is a lot of Dragoons. Nevertheless, that Reaver, if it can get some good splash damage, could be a big factor. And this just might be too much. Mines exploding on everything. The Reaver not able to escape. The Zealots, however, getting on top of the siege tanks. And it looks like Kiko, simply did not have enough supply. So despite the close reinforcement point, he's going to end up with a army reset, which is going to favor Bugg overall. Yeah, Bugg getting the damage he was looking for and going to go ahead and take a step back. So I'm wondering if Bugg intentionally grabbed the 6 o'clock location as almost a strategic play to encourage Kiko to engage him at the 6 o'clock so that he would basically force an overextension and then go for a snag, basically reset the big mech army count right there before +2 weapons kicked in. We have a dropship staging around. We do have some cannons to help defend here at the 6 o'clock location. There are other vectors that dropship can take, maybe to get something successful. We also have a turret being built upper left to maybe grab an additional base right there. A little bit of an early transfer from Bugg. Caught it, though, is going to redirect. Bugg playing really, really well here. Vulture getting chased away here to the north as well. There's the dropship. Dropped a single Vulture to distract some cannon fire. It looks like that dropship with just a little bit of health going to be able to make it to the natural expansion, but honestly just wasted resources right there. And now Kiko in a lot of trouble. Maybe he can grab this 4th underneath Bugg's nose and Bugg won't be able to do anything about it, and that will be the shift. But right now he's sitting on a healthy gateway count. He's got or factory count. He's got the 3 machine shops up to work with. He wants to check top right to see whether Bugg has taken territory this direction, to know whether he's, because 4 bases versus 3 bases is still a very tenable position where you can just wait on your upgrades and things like that. But if there was another base up here, it might have been danger time. Upper left, so he's going to grab a 4th, and that's well before Bugg is grabbing his 5th. But Bugg still has that massive supply lead. He's going to have the arbiters out. He's got stasis researching, so he's got a lot to work with. And this is a very risky base here, top left for Kiko. A group of Zealots could easily stream that direction, which would put Kiko in a difficult defensive situation where he would potentially be exposing all sorts of territory out here. So tanks clearing some mines, +2 weapons, +1 armor They're online. Kiko still down in supply count, but the army a little bit out of position. The mines there, I don't see, where's the observer? The observer not here. So this is a lot of mine that could really soften, oh man, yeah, really softening up those zealots. And a big EMP on the front as well, mostly caught the zealots. So Kiko keeping an eye, and here's the thing, this is a great play from Kiko, because not only is he threatening the 6 o'clock base from Bugg, he's distracting Bugg away from that top left-hand corner grab. So the Zealots now moving in the Zealots moving in across the south behind the Dragoons, not the order you really want them to come in. You really want the Zealots out in front moving twice at once. So this attack might be more, and keep in mind there's that +2 weapons, +1 armor. A pocket of those troops able to get into that southern siege tank line, but this attack working out much, much better for Kiko. All of a sudden just a 30 supply lead, which if you deduct the 20 worker difference is actually an army deficit for Bugg. And now that 6 o'clock base, the upgrade's going to get lost. The cannon's going to get taken out. So this is potentially going to be a dead base. A base that's secured top left. And a huge swing in fortune, although it looks like Bugg is starting to take the natural expansion top right. Workers are going to be able to exit, and not losing a lot of workers is actually pretty significant. Especially if you can get a base back in pretty rapidly. We have the Arbiter overhead. It has enough energy for a stasis. A couple Dragoons dying on entry point. They do have +1 armor to work with. Looks like some SCVs made their way top left, by the way, to go ahead and saturate that base pretty rapidly for Kiko. And Kiko's in a great position now, though. He's got the upgrades humming. We have +1 weapons upgrading out of nowhere, which suggests that Bugg is flirting with the idea, potentially, of maybe a tech switch into carrier. He's only got the 1 Arbiter out. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on that as best I can. Usually +1 weapons on just your Arbiter isn't all that much, and I'm wondering if he's doing it for the option. Arbiter sweeping around, big EMP hits it though, and with that EMP landing, Bugg going to go ahead and exit. The turret actually providing some blockading territory. The 6 o'clock base still getting cleaned up, and I missed this. Vultures have snuck top right, cleared the workforce there. Still 76 worker count is actually where Bugg wants to be. But it looks like that Nexus is going to get dropped in the upper right-hand corner. Now all of a sudden it is a mined out main. A natural expansion which is on the precipice of being mined out, which kind of is weird for minerals. So Bugg's got a do or die moment, is going to charge into Kiko here at the 6 o'clock location to try to defend a base and wipe out some of those siege tanks that are spread out. Not a lot of vultures out in front, and we do have some speed zealots making their way to the rear. We have some vultures now making their way in. Several of those siege tanks exposed, and the vultures having trouble getting to the forward front. Kiko still with the massive supply lead though, and Bugg at the end of all this was able to take out a few siege tanks, was not able to secure the 6 o'clock, but is actually now behind in supply, and he's at an economic deficit. And wow, look at all these mines in between here. So upper right gone. 3 o'clock base is still mining, but that's like the healthiest base that Bugg's got, and that is the last base that Bugg is working out of right this second. Single Dragoons trying to work with this, and Kiko saying, you know what, that seems like a really nice base to go ahead and grab, because then I can expand into you in the bottom right hand corner and go ahead and get myself an expansion. So he's moved in an SCV potentially to cap this base for himself, and it looks like he is in fact going to do that. Single Dragoon making its way top left. Never mind, Bugg gonna call GG right there, recognizing down on resources, down on supply, out of position. Great play from Kiko game 1. I kind of like the idea here and there from Bugg, but still very, very risky grabbing that 6 o'clock base. Maybe he's just hoping it would go unnoticed. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.